Thanks for stopping. You remember Star for student I don't remember too much. Good morning. Are you a member of staff or a student here? Yeah, are you USS? Yeah, okay. Well, that's think about it. Thanks for stopping. Are you a member of staff? Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Good morning. Thanks for stopping.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Okay, we're live here at the University of Essex, where up to 500 members of staff are mainly lecturers are on strike over proposed changes to pensions. Can you state? Here's one of them.
Hello.
Can you just state your name first of all?
My name's Dr. Joe Cousins. I'm a junior lecturer here at the University of Essex, and we're out on strike today because of the brutal cuts to our pensions, which mean that we're going to lose about £10,000 a year.
So can you just explain the situation? What's going on?
Well, as I understand it, there's very little reason for the cuts. They're based on some poor calculations in terms of how much liability is in the pension fund. And the problem that we have is that the managers of the pension scheme are refusing to negotiate with the union members at UCU. And that's what we'd like to happen. We'd like them to come back and negotiate and talk about a different deal. But at the moment there's no negotiations taking place, and hence we're forced to go out on strike.
So who's to blame?
Well, like I say, I think it's the managers of the USS pension, and really that is the management of all the universities in the scheme.
Good morning.
So can you just explain the defined benefit pensions versus the defined contribution?
Well, that's a difficult question. I wasn't expecting you to ambush me with that one. Look, I've only recently joined the pension scheme. I've only just started. I've only just joined the union as well. So the details are less important to me than the principle of the thing, which is that I need more senior members of staff to be able to rely on the fact that they can retire on the pension that they signed up for and on a decent pension. So that people like me, younger members, will be able to get a decent job at the end of the day, and so that they can be looked after as well once they reach retirement age.
Was strike the only option available to take?
Well, there's been several attempts at negotiation, and there's actually been previous strikes to this, 2 previous strikes. And so we are forced up against the wall, and that's why we're having such an extensive period of strikes. I mean, there is some debate about whether 14 days of strikes is the right way to go, and I completely understand that. It's very disruptive for the students, it's very disruptive for us as staff. We have to think about assessments and all of these kind of things and the effect that it's going to have. But really there's no option if there's no negotiation on this issue, and we have to make a stand at some point.
What level of support are you receiving?
From whom?
From students, from the general public?
I think it's generally good. I think most of the students actually support the strike. They certainly understand the reasons, and they're not going to oppose it. A minority are a little bit upset and anxious that this may affect their grades, but we've been trying to reassure them that we'll work with them to make sure that doesn't happen.
Do you think there's been a lot of talk about whether students who have they've had lectures and classes cancelled as a result, do you think they should be able to claim a possible refund for their missed classes and lectures and assessment? From
the university? That's a tricky one, and I'm agnostic. I'm not sure because I kind of feel that the whole principle of students as consumers is an idea which I don't generally support. So I'm ambivalent to that one. Although if they have a legal right to do it, I think that, and they want to, I think they should pursue that. Yes.
Yeah. Do you think in any way the strike is putting at risk the reputation of British higher education?
No. because I think it shows that we're critically engaged individuals, and we believe in strong principles and ideas. That's the whole point of university. That's the whole point of a university education. So I think, if anything, it shows that we actually believe and are willing to act on the ideas which we teach in the classroom.
So the university pension scheme, they say there's a 6.1 billion hole to plug. Do you think that's accurate? Do you think there should be a second opinion?
Well, there's been some research done at the University of Warwick which disputes those figures altogether, and also the whole basis for the cuts is the idea that for some reason all the universities would fail at the same time, and on the basis of that calculation they've worked out what the whole is. So I think UCU members and the public in general are sceptical about the claims that are being made by the USS pension managers.
Yeah.
I know.
And do you think the whole situation has not helped with all the media scrutiny over the six-figure salaries that vice chancellors are?
Yes, that doesn't help, does it? That creates a schism there, doesn't it? So we're going to cut £10,000 a year from your pensions, but we're going to pay £400,000 a year to vice chancellors. That does make it rather more stark, I think, the whole situation.
Yeah.
Morning.
What effect do you hope the strike will have then?
Well, hopefully it'll bring people back to the negotiating table. My hope is that by the middle of next week, the strike will have had an impact, that UCU will be back in negotiation with the USS pension managers, and that we can get a reasonable deal on this, and we can get a solution, which means we can go back to work, the students can go back to the classes, and that more senior lecturers can retire on a comfortable pension, which they, after all, have earned.
And clearly there is a mandate for the strike to stretch into July, which would obviously come with the summer exam season. Are you prepared to go on strike during the summer exam season?
I think you need to come back in the summer and ask me that question. I'll make that decision at the time on the basis of the facts at that moment. As I say, I would like to see the strike come to a negotiated conclusion, which is one that we can move forwards from. I don't really want to see the strikes go on until the summer. That's not something I want to do. Whether it's something I'm prepared to do, like I say, you have to ask me in the summer.
Is it surprising that some of the smartest minds in the country, academics and vice chancellors, is it surprising now that it has come to a strike, that it is beyond the wit of some of the smartest minds in the country, not to just hammer a deal around around the table?
I can see what you're driving at there. I don't think it's beyond our wit. I think it's beyond certain individuals' will, and I think it's just a question of will. And we're on strike to demonstrate that we are committed to this, that we have the will to fight. And now the ball is really in the USS pension managers' court, isn't it? And it's up to them to decide whether they have the will to come to the negotiating table and bring this to a negotiated end.
And finally, so this is mainly for you to protect future generations of university staff.
Yeah, but also I think it's important for the students as well, because you have to, it can be quite stressful working in a university. There's large lectures that you have to plan, there's lots of marking and so on and so forth. And so what you need is teachers who are well remunerated and feel comfortably off, and then that's going to improve the quality of education which the students receive. So it's not just about the teachers, it's also about the students as well, and about protecting education as something which we value in society, which isn't necessarily the case in this country at all moments.
Thank you very much for your time.